What's up, y'all? I'm out here at the range, as you can see back behind me. Been out here all day doing some testing on a fantastic day. It feels about like winter time out here after the heat wave we've had. So I've been trying to make the most of it out here today. And for this one, we're gonna check out some more 10 mil. So we got our jelly contraption, of course, with the chrono and 2 blocks of gel. Now I've done a couple of tests in this far block, so I'll leave some links if y'all hadn't seen that. This first one up here is completely clear, so we'll get a really good picture of what happens here. Of course, I'm staying with my heavy clothing barrier with a layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt material. So what we're checking out this time is some 10 mil ammo from Fenix ammunition. This was actually sent to me by Steve at my local shop, so again, big thanks to him for that. This is their 180 grain FXP. I don't know what FXP stands for. They're saying approximately 1250 feet per second. I have no idea what barrel size that's out of. I'm sure we won't see that. I'm just used to it by now. And then it's got down here threatening hosses, whatever that means. I have no idea. 1250 feet per second. And looking at this projectile, I can tell you right now with 99.99% certainty again that they're using Barry's hybrids for this. You can just tell by the unique look of it. Y'all know how Barry's hybrids have been in the past. Y'all should have already seen some atomic videos, probably 2 of them by now. Those things are just incredibly velocity dependent. They're very, very picky. They seem to have really, really small windows as far as velocity where they're going to perform well. Now, being that this is 10 mil, 1250, it's probably just a standard 40 cal projectile, I'm guessing. But if it hits somewhere around 12 or, high 11s, it should at least expand. The only thing that I'm worried about, if it actually was to hit close to this right here, I feel like it's going to fragment because, like I said, I just tested that atomic ammo, and if you watch the last one I did through the longer barrels, that 9 mil went all to pieces. But y'all know how I am. Even if this stuff hits 1200, it's better than a lot of the so-called 10 mil out there, but it's still not what I would want out of a 180 grain projectile. So either way, this 10 mil ain't for me. What I'm really curious to see is how it's going to perform in the gel as just an overall performance. And as far as what we're running it out of, as you can already see, it's my good old Glock 20 Gen 4 with the 4.6 inch barrel. So hopefully this will at least give us some decent general performance from this round. Let me get this stuff set up and let's check them out. All right, let's get some speeds on these things. I'm gonna do a 5-round average on them. I probably didn't even mention, I totally forgot, since this is the only round I'm testing and the only barrel length I'm using, I'm gonna do 2 rounds into the gel. We're gonna use one with the heavy clothing barrier and then one with t-shirt only. So 5 rounds here. Now, if you're not familiar with this radar, like I mentioned every time, you're gonna get multiple readings. The big number is gonna be your muzzle velocity. You'll have 5 additional at the bottom. Those are set for 3, 7, 10, 25, and 50 yards. So we should get all of them on this. I didn't even bring my mag. Let me grab the mag. Let's try that again, y'all. Works better when you got some ammo in it. Let's see what we got. Now, remember the box was saying the 1250, I believe? 1250 on this. Got 1147, 1158, 1154, 1161, and 1159, so not even close to 1250. That's a 180 grain projectile, y'all. 1159 feet per second. I mean, I don't even want to get on another rant. Let's check the average on that. I just realized I didn't have the camera on record when I was doing the doggone round, so I'll run them up on the screen though so y'all can see them. But our 5-round average on that was 1156. We had an extreme spread of 15 and a standard deviation of 5.8, so they're loaded nice and consistent. You can definitely give them that, but the velocity is just not there. I mean, that box said 1250. Obviously, they're running them out of a much longer barrel, but y'all know, I'm gonna say this one time, I can get 1,320 feet per second from this Glock 20 just like it sits every single time. I get that average between 1,300 and 1,320 from this Glock 20 using 180 grain buffalo bore 10 mil. Everybody always asks me on these 10 mil videos which ammo meets my expectations, and I say it every time and I link it every time. There's 2 videos out there for buffalo bore 180. That is the only 10 mil that has met my expectations. So anyway, at 1156, I feel like these berries are probably going to expand. Hopefully they don't over expand and give us like 10, 11 inches of penetration. But let me get this stuff reset and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's berry, quite contrary jelly time. I'm gonna put one round through each clothing barrier into the gel. We're gonna do the heavy clothing first, and then I'll swap it up and we'll do t-shirt only. If I'm guessing, again, like I say, I think these are going to expand well. I think they're going to act like a good 40 Smith & Wesson, if I was guessing. Only thing I'm concerned about is the penetration. Let's see what we get out of them. All right, that should have been a good one there. All right, let's try this again, y'all. I'm probably not even gonna put that in the video, the round that I just sent down there, because it was a hot mess. It went in the block exactly where I wanted it and popped out the side in between the two of them, so I lost it. And then come to find out, I didn't even have the light on my chrono on, so I didn't even get the speed reading. So I ain't even gonna put that in there just to fill space. I'll show you the wound track, but let's see if we can get one to stay in there. I got everything in on this time. Everything's recording, so we should be good on this one. All right, if that thing came out the top, I'm gonna be mad. Let me go look at this. I tell you what, y'all, it seems like it never fails. There's always one test that wants to aggravate the fool out of me. Let's try it again. It went exactly where I wanted it, but then popped out the top. I don't understand why that one popped out the top. It's just curving. Let's try it again. I'm gonna try to move it over a little bit now. It's getting messy. All right, let's try that one and see if it stayed in. All right, we did manage to catch that one, and it looks absolutely terrible. So the other three probably look the same because the wound channels look similar. Let's try this single t-shirt now. I don't think this is going to do anything different for it unless the clogging is what is just taking these things out. But I think it's more velocity and clogging combo. But let's see what happens. Maybe this will help it. All right, that's probably, actually, I think I see something popping out the side down there. Let me go see what happened. All right, y'all, let's check this mess out down here. There's quite a few more tracks than I had planned down here, but I'll pick y'all up and give you some good angles. Really, it's not much to see, honestly. They performed terrible, in my opinion. As far as 10 mil, both of these things performed absolutely terrible. I'm just gonna go over these two that we actually captured, and then we'll look at the other ones when I pick y'all up. But the first one that we captured from the with the heavy clothing, that's down here on the very bottom. As you can see, it came in here. You got some disruption here, so it's hard to tell what happened, but then once you see this straight pencil line, you just already know there was absolutely no expansion. So it carries on through the block here. As you can see, keeps on trucking, and you see it sitting down there at the bottom. I've turned backwards, so it tumbled somewhere along the lines, probably early on, I would guess. Maybe right there at the union of the blocks, who knows? But anyway, it tumbled somewhere along the lines and it's sitting there backwards. Absolutely no expansion at all. And then the one that we caught through the t-shirt only, that's this second one right here, down below this top one. This top one was another one that went out the top, y'all saw. It went in straight as an arrow and then curved out the top. All of this curving is probably due to the fact that they're not expanding, or they're expanding partially, which you'll see here in a second, very irregular and just curving off. So anyway, the second one down here, that's through the t-shirt only. More disruption from this, no doubt about it. So you can see with this right here, that little kind of spiral looking area, that right there shows you that something opened up because it's making that like cutting motion. So it goes through here, you got a piece of jacket, or a piece of the whole projectile, I should say, because it's basically fused together. Keeps on going here into the second block, and we just barely caught it. That right there is the projectile sticking out the side. It's hanging in, it's caught inside by one of the pedals, and I can tell you right now, obviously it lost that piece, but very irregular expansion. It's partial expansion, nowhere near what it should be. So it's just pretty much the same story we see with these berries every time, just really, really inconsistent performance. But let's try to get us some penetration measurements here. So the one from the heavy clothing down there at the very bottom with no expansion at all, that one went out here to 21¼ inches of penetration. And then the one here from the t-shirt only popped out the side. It's right here, popped out the side at exactly 17½ inches. So absolutely fantastic penetration on that one right there. It's just too much of a gamble is the problem with these berries, whether or not you're going to actually get that. Let's see if I can give you some close-up looks. Again, that second one, that's the one from the t-shirt only that we actually caught. The one above it was one that popped out the top. But as you can see, I mean, they go in really nice. And that one just decided to go on out the top. But if we go back to the one underneath it, again, that's the one that we caught through the t-shirt. This one did the best, no doubt about it. You can see nice disruption there. Carries on through here. You lost a piece right there. It's in front of another one. I'll try to give you an angle. There you go. That's a little better. You can see nice disruption there from it. Lost that piece there into the second block. And then there's your projectile. I mean, it's just stuck in there by just a little piece of it. And as I said, it's just very, very inconsistent even for that expansion right there. And then again on the bottom, that's the one through the heavy clothing. As you can see, a little disruption, but then just turns into a straight line into that second block. And there you see it sitting down there, turned backwards, absolutely no expansion at all. All right, let's check out these projectiles, y'all. Just a perfect example here of the inconsistency of these berries. So this one right here is the one from the heavy clothing. This one was the t-shirt only. As you can see, the one from the heavy clothing did nothing, no kind of expansion. Now it is weirdly, just weirdly out of shape. It's crooked, like it's got a bend over this way, and it's got another kind of almost a twist to the whole body of it, and another bend going the other way. It's probably going to be very difficult to get that to come through on camera, but just really, really weirdly bent and pushed to the side. So, I mean, that tells you right there, it had the speed to get these things to do some kind of deformation, but I just don't know. I don't know about these berries, but anyway, this one right here, that was from the t-shirt. As you can see, this one did try to open, but very, very inconsistent. Again, a piece of it broke off. If I was going to guess, I would say this opened because it tumbled sideways. It could have been that piece breaking off that got it out of balance, but whatever the case, as you can see, very inconsistent and nothing nowhere even close to what it should be. Just to give you an example of what it should look like, this right here is the 45 ACP plus P from the atomic load that I just did. So as you can see there, that's what you're supposed to get. But again, just another example of the inconsistency from these berries, because this right here was moving over 1,000 feet per second. So it wasn't far off from, it may have been even moving 1,100. It wasn't far off at all from this right here that's trying to call itself 10 mil. But let's get a little data from them anyway and see what we got. As far as the weight, they both started at 180. This one here from heavy clothing is 180.6, so obviously nothing lost there. And then this one here from the t-shirt only is 157.4, so quite a bit of loss there. We're losing that big old chunk. And then as far as size, obviously this one right here is not going to be anything but base size, and it's probably going to be weird because of that deformation. You got 379, 392, and 375. So again, it's just really, really mashed out of shape in multiple directions. Now this one here from t-shirt only is going to be very, very irregular. If we get this long ways measurement here, you're looking at 849. But then if you go across the shortest way, you've only got 434. So very, very irregular expansion. Absolutely nothing close to what it's supposed to do. And there you have it, y'all, the Fenix Ammo 10 mil loaded with the berries hybrids. In my opinion, both of these were failures. As far as 10 mil, they're absolute failures. There's just no question about it. The velocity is incredibly pitiful. There's no expansion at all from this one. Very irregular partial expansion from this one. So again, that's my opinion, but as far as 10 mil, they're absolute failures. And really, as far as rounds, they're failures. They failed to do what they're supposed to do. This is no kind of barrier. There's no reason these things should not get absolute perfect symmetrical expansion through this ballistic gel. There's just no excuse. People can make all the excuses in the book that you want to make, but there's no reason this stuff should not have performed like it's supposed to perform. I honestly hate that so many places are loading these Berry's hybrids, because when they fail like this, then I'm sitting here and saying, well, this Fenix ammo is a failure, this atomic ammo is a failure, this and that's a failure, when in reality, it's actually this Berry's hybrid projectile that's the failure. All right, y'all, I'm calling it right there for what was once again another disappointing 10 mil. In my opinion, this stuff was sad in pretty much every way, other than maybe the consistency of the velocities when we're doing the velocity testing. But if they're too low to get it to do anything in the gel, who cares how consistent it is? Y'all know I'm not one to hold back on my opinion, and I'm gonna just tell you right now, I think these manufacturers are doing theirself an absolute disservice by using these Berry's hybrids to load up and trying to call them premium rounds. I know that the supply is difficult right now, and I guess they're just looking for some type of projectile to offer a bonded type of round, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I would rather have something like a Nosler, or I know it's crazy to hear this, but even in XTP, if it's moving fast enough, then something like this, you'll get a little bit of fragmentation from a Nosler 10 mil, but I'd rather have the fragmentation. As much as I hate seeing rounds come apart, I'd rather have a little bit of fragmentation than the terribly inconsistent and poor performance than you see from these Berry's hybrids. But let me know what y'all think about the performance from these things out here today. As far as 10 mil, I mean, would you run these things in 10 mil? Would you actually go out and purposely look for these in a 10 mil? Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. If you did enjoy the video, reach down and hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you've got your notifications turned on so you don't miss anything that I upload. If you're doing some shopping, check out those affiliate links in the video description. Anything you buy after going through those links down there, I get a kickback from them towards the channel, so I really do appreciate that. Once again, I appreciate all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for supporting the channel. I've got some interesting things done out here today. I planned on doing another one, but as you saw, this test kind of changed the plan, so lots of good stuff headed your way. Be on the lookout for that, and in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.